Family and friends gathering this hour to pay tribute to former Education Minister, the first one, by the way, in a democratic South Africa, Sthembiso Bhengu in Ishawe in KwaZulu-Natal. He passed away on the 30th of December at the age of 90. Newzroom Africa's Ziyanda Ngobo is at the Ishawe Town Hall for us this morning. Ziyanda, good morning. I know you've got a guest with you, so I'm going to hand it straight over to you.
Thanks, Iman. I'm with Dr. Sthembiso Bengu, who's the family's spokesperson. So let's speak straight with him. Doc, when we talk about the life of Professor Bengu, what should South Africans remember? It was quite some time ago. Some people might not even remember him, those who are born after 1994.
Yes. So Professor Bengu was obviously a committed South African, committed to the project of transforming our society. He was, by the way, an educator, and so even his entrance to the struggle was essentially because of him as a teacher, as an educator, and experiencing the hardships that students, pupils in Kwatlangez, or the school that he founded, and also that the experiences that were students now when he was the dean of students at the university. And so these are the things that essentially forced him into activism and to see the need for a better society, and of which he very much believed the significance of education, not just in bettering individual lives, but also in transforming society, in building human capital of an entire society.
I mean, he's got quite an impressive CV, a man of many firsts, the founder of KwaDlangezwa High School, also the first black chancellor of Fort Hare University, and of course, as we've mentioned, Democratic South Africa's first education minister. And you've already mentioned that he was grounded in being an educator, but also the first Secretary General of the IFP. Let's talk a bit about his activism during the struggle in exile. He also went to Geneva to also go get his doctorates. Yes,
so obviously he so if you remember, as was at KwaDlangezwa and the University of Zululand, then is the formation of actually Inkatha Yenkululeko Yesizwe, which yes at some point morphed to become the IFP. But when it was formed as a cultural organization at the time when the liberation movement was banned. And so this organization is formed, by the way, it's not even formed as a KZN organization or a Zulu organization. It's formed as a cultural organization that is supposed to mobilize our communities and essentially build this culture of self-reliance and many other cultures that really we're going to be helping to develop communities. Obviously that were neglected by the state. And so obviously when then that was not the case, and the diverging policy directives, and obviously when then Inkatha Yenkululeko Yesizwe became what it became, and the formation of the KwaZulu-Bantustan by then Chief Minister, and so that then forced him out. And obviously one of his other very significant part is that he was a devoted Lutheran. Yes. And essentially so a devoted in what we call ecumenical Christian foundations, which is very much founded on belief in God, faith, but also community development, and so which is what then he was, when then he was in Geneva, obviously pursuing the PhD and after completing it, and then working with the Lutheran World Federation, in particular in the section of research and social action, and essentially making this strong link of how the church links with concrete struggles that people are facing of development, underdevelopment, and all of those. And so that is what really at the heart of it that then he was doing, and ensuring that, and if you remember, as a result of that, a lot of donate funding came to South Africa to help in terms of the churches, in terms of the poor communities, and to building schools, building clinics, and all those kind of things, yes.
Just lastly from my side for now, because I know, of course, you have to go in for the church service, talking about Professor Bengu, the family man.
Yes, so Professor Baba family was quite significant to him, and obviously as the case to many of the Nolosis. And for us, what is significant, obviously, is that in the generation of our grandfather, Uchekoniya, he was the second eldest. But he outlived all Obaba and the aunts to be the last one. And so he was our remaining patriarch. And so part of it really, why this is also significant, besides his larger-than-life stature, really, in the nation, is that he was really our only remaining patriarch. And so now, with him having left, essentially, and that entire generation is gone, it is now obviously left to us as the children to hopefully follow in his footsteps, to hopefully inculcate, imbibe the same values that he had, and hopefully to pass them to our children as well.
All right, that's Dr. Sthembiso Bhengu, the spokesperson for Professor Sibusiso Bengu's family. And Iman, as I speak to you at 10 o'clock, a church service, a private church service will get underway. And so we'll wait for that to conclude, a Lutheran service, as you would have heard, Dr. Bengu reflecting on the fact that he was deeply rooted within the church. And thereafter, the tributes will be made. We're anticipating that Police Minister Senzo Mchunu will be amongst the dignitaries paying tribute to the first democratically elected education minister. Iman.